This is going to be perfect pre-workout. Also works as a phone stand, which I desperately need right now. But I'm currently just sitting at a bench in this park. Still pretty early, so there's people around. This makes me feel uncomfortable. I felt like I should just, go to the car and film this video, because then I can drive to a spot where there's no one around and it's just me in the car. I can lock the doors, I feel comfortable. But I have to get out of my comfort zone, and well, that's why I'm here. People are probably gonna walk past. You can hear people. There's people like just coming out of the gym now. Must be some kind of class or something. Who knows? It's pretty cold as well. Like vaping. But yeah, in this video, I just wanted to kind of show you where my mind's at. My plan right now is to destroy this current version of myself and completely change into the man who I actually desire to be. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to go over how I'm planning on doing that. So first off, a few months back, it wasn't too long ago, I was on my shit. I was waking up at 4:30 every single day. I was, going gym. I would do like 2-3 hours of deep work every single morning. I was meditating, taking the cold showers, reading. That only lasted for a couple of weeks, and then I fell back on bad habits, and I started hanging out with one of my friends who isn't a good influence, and he's always smoking weed. And look, I don't smoke, but as soon as I'm offered and I'm around, guys who have weed and there's like a bong, I can't help myself. I end up losing whatever streak I'm on. I still have a lot of different addictions that are currently vices, where, if I'm in the vicinity of them, I will end up doing it. So yeah, there's that to start off with. But what I'm trying to say is, I was on my shit for a couple of weeks, and then I fell off and went back to bad habits like scrolling, watching porn, and a bunch of other bad stuff. And I was just kind of bed rotting at that point. I wasn't doing anything to actually help me towards my goals. I wasn't doing the deep work. I stopped going gym, all that. And the reason that is because I didn't actually believe that I was the guy that I was trying to become, right? I was just acting like him, but I didn't truly believe that I was him. And because of that, and because of still feeling like I was myself, it made me fall back into myself, right? If that makes sense. But I realized this time that I have to completely change who I am mentally, so then I can align who I want to become with who I am, right? Because if you're still, the guy that smokes weed, the guy that vapes, that just scrolls and is a complete loser, you're going to stay at that frequency. You can't then elevate where you want to be, right? So reflect on your day. Man, I hate how I'm so nervous right now. You know, people walking their dog. I'm going off topic now. Pretty much what I'm trying to say there is that you have to align with the version of yourself that you want to be, and you have to believe that you are already him. The way that I'm going to do that is by pretty much doing everything that I would not want to do, right? Like this version of me, the things that makes him uncomfortable, the things that he would stay away from or just not be wanting to do, I'm going to force myself into doing them. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to go for a run. I hate running. It's so cold, as you can see from my vape clouds, but yeah, I'm gonna force myself into doing it and get to a point where I have a stitch and, you know, I feel like throwing up and I just can't go any further, and then I'm going to keep pushing through it. And my goal is to run 1 kilometer non-stop. And that might not sound like much, but currently when I try to run, dude, I give up after like 400 meters. My cardio is not at a good level whatsoever. Like I can lift heavy weights for an hour and a half, but when it comes to running or boxing or something like that, it's a struggle. The second step of all this is I have to start actually going up, approaching people, starting conversations. I gotta start talking to girls, because this version of me, I can't do it. You know, I freeze up, I stutter, I just force myself out of the conversation very early because I feel uncomfortable. Heart starts racing, my face turns red. So yeah, gotta definitely fix that. But yeah, I just have to write down who I want to become, and then figure out why I'm this version of me, what vices are currently holding me back, and I have to destroy all of the vices. So the way that I'm going to go about shifting my mindset is through manifestation. I'm going to start by writing down very specific details about every single part of this version of myself that I want to be, right? Everything from how my hair is, how I speak, how I act, how I dress, what I look like, what tattoos I have. Every single detail. Where I live, what it feels like to live there, what it feels like to be me. What do I do throughout the day? How do I feel throughout the day? How do I train at gym? Everything. I'm going to cover everything. And then by reading it every single day, and I'm also going to start allowing myself time to think about it, and also use meditation to imagine it. Eventually, I'm going to then convince myself yeah. Another thing is I'm going to kind of just talk to myself into a mirror, but I'm going to speak to myself as if I was already the version of myself that I want to be. I'm going to actually act as if I was that man already. But yeah, I believe that by changing my mindset first, getting rid of all the negative habits, the distractions, everything that's holding me back in my life, and replacing them with positive habits. It's going to completely alter the trajectory of my life. And I'm also just going to torture myself. Waking up early, taking cold plunges every single morning, like 4:30 a.m., wake up at 4, hitting workouts in the morning, going for runs, doing cardio, going out, being social around people. I'm going to set myself self-challenges that I have to do that are just going to completely put me out of my comfort zone. Things that my brain's going to be screaming at. I'm just gonna force myself into doing it. But yeah, that's my plan. So last thing I'm gonna add in this video before I end it, I'm going to run 1 kilometer, which I don't think I've ever done in my life. I've done like 600 meters. I've ran 400 meters a few times recently, but I get to the point where I just have a stitch and I feel sick and everything hurts. But 400 meters is pathetic, and 1 kilometer is the bare minimum. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video by just showing you on my watch that I ran a kilometer. You'll be able to tell by the time, the pace, and like the average heart rate. My face is burning up. When I said I could only run 400 meters, I wasn't lying. My longest run has been 600 meters, and I did that a few weeks ago. I went into that with a completely different mindset. Like I said, my goal was 1K. Felt like giving up at about 600-700 meter mark, but I kept pushing. Another lap. My Apple Watch told me I did a K. I felt like giving up. I'm like, it's done. I did it. But I told the bitch inside me to shut the fuck up. And I kept running. I kept going. I told myself one more lap. And then I got to 2Ks. I kept pushing. I'll bring it up on the Apple Watch. Told you I'd get proof. There we go. I'm not a runner. I don't know if an average pace of 5 minutes and 24 seconds is good or it's really shit. But there it is in blue. 3.16 kilometers. I ran for 17 minutes. Different mindset.